Alright, hello to all my guys, gals, and non-binary pals out there across the electrical ocean. This is Jazzman back with a game. In the interests of appeasing the all-powerful comment section, I've decided to record a few more low-ranked games just to, give some other players a chance to share in the spotlight for a while. Because I do tend to prefer high-ranked games, but there'll be the occasional exception. So we've got Erik98 here playing Full Faction Sundered Lands, already bringing that powerful Valdak-Vindrax duo. And then over here we've got Uchokeiclutch playing Full Faction Iron Fist Stronghold. My Japanese is a little bit rusty. I'm not too sure what that means. Motto benkyou shita hou ga ii na. Anyway, he's got a couple invulnerable Grintmaw here, thanks to the Iron Fist Standard Bearer. And then which one of them is the king here? This guy's the king, the Grintmaw Magnificent. So that'll actually be really annoying for Erik to deal with. He's got, Vindrax is physical, of course, but he's melee, so he's gonna be annoyed by the Majestic, and then the ranged Valdak and Agitator will be annoyed by the Mirrored. So that Magnificent, and he has a bubble on him too from the Kingmaker. That's a big chonky boy. He's not gonna be going down for quite a while. And then of course Gravitone in the back. I'm going to start throwing some, I guess, gravitationally propelled boulders at people, infused with magic. I have no idea how he attacks, but he's going to be putting a hurting on the Vindrax. It's funny though. Like whenever I see Vindrax, I see a vulnerability magical, of course, which does tend to impair him somewhat. But Sunderland's champions are just so tanky naturally anyway. Like. They get, he gets Hunter Walker, he has 2 defense in the SL bonus, so the vulnerability is not that big a deal in most matchups. So Valdak doing more damage, doing more damage to itself than the Magnificent there. And then Vindrax loosing a bomb. Yeah, bombs do get reduced by Mirrored as well. So they're going to be taking some return damage there. Already down to 40 though. That Grintmaw racial coming in. And if this is actually a full Grintmaw deck by Ucho, then I guess like a small map like this, they can do pretty well. But it just depends on whether or not you can get the numbers down. Because in my experience with Grintmaw, sort of like if you can get the numbers down and, wait it out, like your late game is really good, honestly. But it's just a matter of sort of, getting there and playing within that 5-space AoE all the time. They don't do too well on split maps for that reason. And, yep, that's, I don't know, that's sort of my extent with Grintmaw, but Valdak getting slammed here by the Gravitone. I think if he had actually attacked that Valdak twice, he would have gotten the kill. For some reason, he wasted his first attack knocking back the Agitator. But yeah, that was a little bit of a positioning misstep there by Erik. I would probably have preferred the Consulate deploy like over here, so that didn't happen. But yeah, Ucho kind of missed out on that kill there. So a Soul Reaver coming down for, I guess, the debuff and the curse. Because there was nothing to cleanse, but that's not going to help him get the kill either. So he's going to get the hit, at least, but Valdak will regen that. He's not inhibited, as far as I know. And then, I don't know, I'd still say that Magnificent is plenty safe. Like, Vindrax can still get a double tap. Maybe with like a quickening or something, you could think about a kill. But that Valdak will absolutely die to the return damage if so. And Ucho also puts down the Hearthstone. And Hearthstone is a really nice relic. 35 Nora is kind of pricey, but for the effect it gives, I think it's really strong. It got buffed, I think, with 5 max HP. And the patch changes a while back. So it comes in with 25, and with Dampen, that's a pretty big debuff. Grintmaw also have a lot of Awestruck from the Grintmaw, I think it's called the Shaman, that gives Starshine. And funny enough, that Shaman also used to have Dampen as an ability, and I believe it was 6 range. But nowadays it's just on the Relic, and I think Starshine is perfectly acceptable as a Majestic Granter anyway. Shaman here would be pretty nice to protect the Grintmaw Gravitone, but Erik is actually going to focus down that Relic, and the Relic itself has the Grintmaw racial, so even if you attack it, then you're going to be buffing the champions around instead. So it does take it down, gives everyone a lot of max HP. That's 62 HP on that Gravitone already, by the way. And I like Ucho's choice of supports here. I think Kingmaker is great in Grintmaw for the bubble because attacks on buffers do count towards the Grintmaw passive. So you can get a lot of mileage out of stuff that has buffer, or the Grintmaw spell, Grintmaw Hymn, that prevents damage. And even if you split with something like Forglar Swamp, you can grant buffers with Ballcopper Shaman, or, Soul Sphere splitting the damage, or Bubble of Protection as well. But then, yeah, Iron Fist Standard Bearer, usually not the Invigorate champion of choice. Although it does come in with, I think Command Charge is nice for engagements, which Grintmaw sort of lack an option for, aside from like Iron Fist Minister. So I'd probably go with like these guys plus Minister and maybe a Priest of Valdak for healing in terms of supporting in the Grintmaw deck. But I think Ucho should be focusing more on deploys right now. These two champions aren't going to last forever. He goes for the Hymn after killing Valdak, which, I mean, I don't hate it. I think honestly right now, like, Erik should be focusing this Gravitone instead. But the Purge coming down. Okay, so never mind. You should definitely focus this thing instead then. But yeah, I think even still, I think Vindrax can deal with the Magnificent well enough now that the Majestic is gone. And these other guys, they shouldn't, I mean, they can try, but, well, first of all, you should hit with Illuminate first to reduce that defense. But yeah, the Purge does not, unfortunately, remove Grintmaw Hymn, so that did eat through a lot of that damage. And yeah, that Gravitone, usually it's the Gravitones that are doing most of the legwork in Grintmaw, because you can get some nice slam positioning with the one that drops barricades, knock shit into that and stuff. And then yeah, Mirrored is going to be a real nuisance here. I'm pretty sure, yeah, you could have pounced actually instead of doing a basic acid attack. Because Pounce is physical damage, and so it wouldn't have gotten reduced by Mirrored. So that might have been able to lead to the kill there, but I'm pretty sure Grant Dragonic Force was on cooldown anyway. So Grintmaw Magnificent doing Tremor Rock Slide, or Rock Slide Tremor, as it were, on its last breath here. And yeah, so even taking 18 damage from this Gravitone, Vindrax is still pretty healthy. Like, he is at 32 HP. He's going to regen some of that. There's a Divinity's Touch resetting the Magnificent into Standard Bearer's rally range. So a little bit unfortunate there for Erik that he couldn't swing that kill. But we will see. That's 50 Noras down to save that Magnificent though. So Ucho is kind of putting all of his eggs into this unbeatable duo's basket. I mean, 70 HP on that Gravitone, that's still saying something. That's why I think it would have been better since he wasn't able to get that kill, like Vindrax could have held down the Magnificent well enough, and then everyone else with an alternate damage attack should have just bum rushed that Gravitone, because the Gravitone does less damage the closer it is to its target. So you really want to be up in their face. But that sort of plays to Grintmaw's strength as a deck, as you want your opponent to be up in your face, because you have stuff like Nexus Aura, Deafening Aura, and you can play around your racial easier if you're not getting harassed from range. But chip damage in general is not the way you want to go with Grintmaw, unless it's stuff like dots, which don't trigger the racial. So Draxar Morph comes down, and Soften will be nice, keeping everyone's defense low. Did he, let's see, what did she mutate? She mutated damage on Vindrax. That'll be helpful, actually. Usually I prefer to get defense on mutate if I can. I mean, I know it's random, so you can't really choose, but defense is great in Sundered Lands. Speed is always helpful. Damage, I would probably say damage is like the least useful of the three stats, just because like in stuff like Draxar, you can stack it up easily enough with Violent. Then Gravitone getting another knockback here, and I think Erik at this point, I mean, he's going to have, like, this Magnificent is impervious. He's wasted a lot of time in Nora trying to take it down. Meanwhile, the 8 damage Gravitone, oh, there's the Shaman, yeah, so Shaman's going to grant Majestic to the Magnificent, and this Majestic will not so easily be foiled by a Purge. So definitely here, like, now that the Majestic is on, I would probably, and especially now that the Magnificent has the Stone Arm Sash for Calcify, I would definitely like to see Vindrax rush in on this Gravitone. And everyone else as well, just like Dogpile. I think Neodrake still has the Pounce, right? So he could pounce right onto this Gravitone. Vindrax could move in for a hit. Then maybe do like a quickening to get a kill. He could do 40 -2 because of the double hit on the racial. You could do 38 here plus the pounce. You do quite a bit of damage, and then the soften to take into account as well. Plus, you know, grant Dragonic Force is up. He has options. He's got a lot of options to work with. So I guess in terms of deploys, physical damage would be really nice. Something with range, like a Draxar Archer here would be great because it's ranged. It's got physical damage to get around mirrored, and it can go toe to toe with the Gravitone from 6 range. That would be an ideal deploy, assuming he's running it. He has a Dragon Skull in the back, which I forgot to mention, so I'm assuming this is more like an acid deck? Morph has acid, Neodrake has acid. And then it doesn't seem like an acid deck to me. I think he's just running Skull because he wants to, I guess. Who knows? This is low ranks. I have no idea what goes into a low ranker's thought process. Of course, being the professional, skilled player that I am, you know, I've never been a low-ranked scrub in my life. But yeah, I think there's a lot of room, especially in the low ranks, for stuff like runes that aren't exactly. I don't want to say meta, but like basically runes that you feel like playing just because. Because you can nowadays you can literally run whatever you want in decks, even at the top levels. It doesn't matter. Go hog wild. If you want to run, 3 Dragon Skulls, you're more than welcome to. You can somehow hack them into the game. But Magnificent here going to charge into the Consulate for some decent damage, and it looks like Ucho is actually making a push for this side of the map here on the towards the font. Realizing that he's probably outmatched in terms of Indrax. The one thing I've noticed this game is that Ucho is sort of splitting up his attacks a lot. He's not really focusing on bringing down one specific target. He's put hits into multiple things with a lot of his AP. And that's kind of a habit you really want to grow out of as you improve as a player. Is that you really want to focus on one thing at a time. Getting one champion down and dead before you focus on something else. There's some wiggle room depending on your deck, but as a hard and fast rule, it's probably one of the better ones to live by. Is just focus something down until it's dead. Don't split up your AP. It's inefficient. You really want to just because a half HP champion is just as impactful as a full HP champion, and especially against Sundered Lands when they have a lot of regen, they have a lot of tankiness. You really want to make sure their champions are well and truly dead. So, going to pounce here on the Shaman, and I think focusing Shaman is great. The Shaman is a little bit overextended here to keep the Majestic on the Magnificent. So it's gonna be feeling the pain here as it goes down to 2 HP from these relocating Dragonkin. And then down. Oh god, Eric made a fatal boo-boo here. He attacked into the Magic Eater with his Draxar Consulate and actually surrenders that. I don't know if he needed to quite surrender that. I think he was still able to keep going there. But either way, well played to both, and we'll see everyone in the next one.